Hi students, in this video we will study counters. What do you mean by a counter? You all know what is a register. Register can store binary information. An n-bit register can have the capability of storing any binary information containing n bits. Suppose this register goes through a prescribed sequence of states. Upon the application of an input pulse, then it is called a counter. That means for each input pulse, the register goes from one state to another state, and that sequence of states is a prescribed sequence of states. Then it is called a counter. Then what is this input pulse? Input pulses are also called count pulses, that may be clock pulses, or they originate from an external source and that occur at prescribed intervals of time or at random. Okay, that means this input pulses may be clock pulses that occur at prescribed intervals of time or at random, or it may be generated from an external source. That means external source also can act as a clock pulses or input pulses that occur at frequent intervals of time. Right? Suppose this counter that follows a binary sequence, then it is called a binary counter. That means it follows a binary number. Okay, for example, suppose the counter goes through the states 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, and these numbers are the binary numbers, so it is a binary sequence, then it is called a binary counter. Okay, so in the case of a register, n-bit register has n flip-flops. Okay, so here registers are actually act as the counters, register that goes through a prescribed sequence of states. Upon the application of the clock pulse, that act as a counter. So in the case of counter also, if it is an n-bit binary counter, it has n flip-flops, right? And that counter can count from 0 to 2 raised to n minus 1, where n is the number of flip-flops. For example, suppose we have a 3-bit binary counter. 3-bit binary counter has 3 flip-flops and it can count from 0 to 2 raised to 3 minus 1. That is the binary equivalent of 0 to 7. That is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, etc. up to 1, 1, 1. Okay. So n-bit binary counter has n flip-flops and it can count in binary from 0 to 2 raised to n minus 1. Okay. Then the counters may be up counter or down counter. Up counter means it counts from 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. Suppose n is the maximum number of count or the last state of the count. Then down counter means it counts from, the counting starts from n and the sequence is n, n minus 1, n minus 2, etc. up to 0. Okay, so that is the up counter and the down counter. Then these counts of the counter actually act as the state of the counter. Okay, so in the case of a 3-bit counter, it goes through the states, it goes through the counts 0 to 7. Then this each count is called the state of the counter. That means it goes from, starts from 0. From 0 it goes to the state 1. Then from 1 it goes to the state 2. Then it goes to 3. Then 4, 5, 6, then 7. Okay, so these are the sequence of states of the 3-bit counter. So each count is called the state of the counter. Then what do you mean by the modulus of the counter? The number of states through which the counter passes before returning to the starting state is called the modulus of the counter. Okay, number of states through which the counter passes. For example, in the case of a 3-bit counter, the counter passes through the states 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the number of counts are 8. Okay, so that is the modulus of the counter, the number of states through which the counter passes through before returning to the starting state. Okay, after 7 it goes to 0. So before returning to starting state, it goes through 8 states. So the modulus of the counter is 8. Okay, take mode 3 counter. Mode 3 counter means it can count from 0, then it goes to 1, then from 1 it goes to 2, then from 2 it goes to 0. So the maximum number of states is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so maximum number of states is only 3. So the number of states through which the counter passes through before returning to the starting state is called the modulus of the counter. Okay, so mode 3 counter has 3 states, 0, 1, 2. Suppose capital N represents the modulus of the counter, then we have the equation n less than or equal to 2 raised to n, where small n represents the number of flip-flops. If n is the number of flip-flops, then we know that it count from 0 to 2 raised to n minus 1. Okay, so the number of states are 2 raised to n. So this modulus is always less than or equal to 2 raised to n. Clear? There are two types of counters, asynchronous counter and synchronous counters. Asynchronous counter is also called ripple counter. So what is an asynchronous or ripple counter? Asynchronous counter or ripple counter means a flip-flop output transition serve as the source for triggering other flip-flops. That means the output of the one flip-flop act as the clock of the second flip-flop. That means second flip-flop is triggered due to the output of the first flip-flop. Okay, for example, suppose we have a 2-bit counter. Okay, 2-bit counter has 2 flip-flops. Then suppose this is a JK flip-flop. Okay, so the output of the first JK flip-flop is Q and Q bar. So this Q act as the clock of the second flip-flop. Okay, due to the output of the first flip-flop, second flip-flop is triggered. That's why it is called a asynchronous counter. Okay, then next is synchronous counters. Synchronous counters means in synchronous counters, flip-flops are triggered simultaneously or parallel by the clock input pulse. That means we apply clock simultaneously to all the flip-flops. Suppose we have a 2-bit counter, then it has 2 flip-flops, then we apply clock pulse simultaneously to both the flip-flops like this. Okay, so here both flip-flops are triggered by the same clock signal simultaneously. Okay, so synchronous counters means counters in which all the flip-flops are triggered simultaneously. Okay, so the design of synchronous counter, we follow some procedure. Okay, next is design procedure for synchronous counter. So to design a synchronous counter, we should follow some procedure. So these are the steps to be followed to design a synchronous counter. So first step is determine the required number n of the flip-flops. That means how many number of flip-flops are required to design the counter. First determine that one. Okay, n less than or equal to 2 raised to n. Suppose we have given the modulus n, then by using this equation we can find what is small n. Here small n represents the number of flip-flops. Okay, suppose the question is directly given as design a 4-bit up counter. Then from the question itself we know that it is a 4-bit counter. 4-bit counter requires 4 flip-flops. That means n-bit counter requires n flip-flops. Okay, suppose it is given as modulus counter. Design a modulus 6 counter or mod 6 counter. Okay, here 6 represents capital N. Okay, so you know that 6 less than or equal to 2 raised to 3. So it requires 3 flip-flops to design the counter. Right? Mod 6 counter requires 3 flip-flops. Right? Second step is draw the state diagram showing all the possible states. Okay, you know that the states represents the count of the counter. Okay, state diagram means it is a graph. It has edges and vertices. Okay, vertex of the state diagram represents the states, and transition means there is a transition from one state to another state, then edge represents the transition. Okay, so Suppose we have a 2-bit counter. 2-bit counter has 4 states. So the states are 0, 1, 2, 3. So the nodes of the state diagram represents the state of the counter, count of the counter. Then we draw the edges. If there is a transition from 0 to 1, then an edge from 0 to 1. Then 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. Then after 3 it goes to the starting state 0. Okay, so this is the state diagram of the counter. Okay, it counts from 0, 1, 2, 3, then again 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, so state diagram is a graph. It has vertices and edges. Vertex represents the count of the counter or it is the state of the counter. Then edges represents there is a transition from one state to another state, then it is represented by a directed edge, right? Then third step is choose the flip-flop for implementing the counter and write its excitation table. Okay, so we choose which flip-flop is used to implement the counter. Then write the excitation table for that flip-flop. So it is easy for write the excitation table of the counter. So next step is write the excitation table of the counter. Okay, so here it is a 3-bit counter. So in the excitation table of the counter, we list the present state and next state of the counter. Okay, so the first column is present state. Suppose the present state is equal to 0, 0, 0. Then second column is next state. From present state it goes to the next state. Next state is 1. So 0, 0, 1. Then present state is equal to 0, 0, 1. Then next state is equal to 0, 1, 0. Like that we write the present state and next state of the counter. Then third column of this excitation table of counter represents the excitation, required excitation. So required excitation is obtained from the excitation table of the flip-flop. Okay, identify the present state and next state of each bit, then write the excitations. Okay, then next step is obtain the minimal expression for excitation of flip-flops using K-map. Okay, find out the minimal expression from the excitation table of the counter using K-map. Then when you obtain the equation for the inputs of the flip-flop, then you can easily draw the logic diagram of the counter. Okay, so these are the steps to be followed to design a synchronous counter, right? Next I will discuss the comparison between synchronous and asynchronous counter. You know that the case of a synchronous counter, all the flip-flops are triggered with the same clock simultaneously. Okay, but in the case of a synchronous counter, the output of the first flip-flop acts as the clock of the second flip-flop. That means flip-flops are triggered with a different clock, not simultaneously, right? Then synchronous counter is faster than a synchronous counter in operation, but synchronous counters are slower than synchronous counter in operation. Then synchronous counter does not produce any decoding errors, but in the case of asynchronous errors, it produces some decoding errors. Then synchronous counter is also called parallel counter and asynchronous counter is called serial counter. Then design as well as implementations are complex due to increase in the number of states. Okay, so in the case of synchronous counter, the design and implementations are very complex process, but in the case of asynchronous counter, designing as well as implementations are very easy. Then synchronous counter operate in any desired count sequence. That means we can design up counter, down counter and also up down counter or any sequence. Suppose the sequence is 0, 2, 4, 3, 1 like that. Any up or down counter and up down counter simultaneously we can design using synchronous counter. But in the case of a synchronous counter, it operates only in fixed count sequence. That means it is an up counter or down counter or up down counter. Okay, combination of up and down counter does not possible in the case of a synchronous counter. Like that, that means in the case of synchronous counter, we can design a counter that count the sequence 0, 3, 2, 4, 5, then 0. Okay, here first it acts as that means it is a different sequence. 0, 3, then goes to down, then goes up like that. But this is not possible in the case of asynchronous counters. Okay, then in the case of synchronous counter, the propagation delay is very less, but in the case of asynchronous counter, propagation delay is high. because in the case of a synchronous counter, it is triggered by the one flip-flop is triggered by the another flip-flop. That means output of the flip-flop act as the clock signal. So the second flip-flop depends on the output of the first flip-flop. So here propagation delay is high in the case of a synchronous counter, but in the case of synchronous counter, propagation delay is very low. Okay, so these are the differences between synchronous and asynchronous counter. Okay, so that's all about counters. Thank you.